guys, it's Michael. Today I'm going to show you how you can get better at welding. Now this video is going to involve an exercise called padding beads. We're just going to be running bead after bead after bead on a plate, and this will undoubtedly help you become a better welder. You might notice we're doing stick welding today. That's because if you start with MIG, unfortunately you won't ever learn how to weld. Too many people just start with MIG welding and then be like, wow, I'm never getting better at this. So that's why we are doing stick welding. So grab yourself a pack of low hydrogen electrodes and let's go. I'll let Mike on the mic catch out voiceover. Let's go. Thanks, Michael. It's Mike on the mic, back again with a bird on my shoulder. By the way, I'm going to do a Q&A in the future, so leave your questions down below. So here I have 1-inch plate, and I'm cleaning it up with a wire wheel on my 7-inch grinder. This wire wheel is also handy for cleaning up the slag from the electrode. So we're going to start by padding beads with low hydrogen. I'm using 7016 here, starting on the edge of the plate. You can use 7018, that would work better. Make sure this first bead is right on the edge of the plate because it's going to set up all the other beads. So you want this one perfectly straight, or as well as you can get it. So instead of scribing lines and following them, we're just following the edge of the plate. You want each bead overlapping each other bead by about half. So we're going to keep doing this over and over and over until I say you've burnt up a 5 kilogram box of electrodes. I think at that point you'll be pretty good. So some things you want to focus on. You want to try and keep as steady as possible. The more steady you keep, the more even your bead will turn out. And you want your bead to be a consistent width. So you need to go at a consistent speed. So also keep steady. Each tiny movement you make will show up in the bead. So you want to try and prop on something. You want to see where the puddle's going. Make sure it's on the right track. You can tell a lot what the bead's going to look like by just looking at the puddle. Make sure you have the right shade in your hood. Keep the electrode close to the puddle. So one mistake that is common in stick welding is people forget to feed the rod, so the arc length is too much. So also do a dry run right before you run in the bead. After a couple beads, you're going to want to quench the plate. So I'm just using a swimming pool. So I'm taking this over to my swimming pool and quenching it. And you only want to quench this plate enough so that all the water boils off by the time you get back to welding it. If you leave too much water on it, it will cause porosity, something called hydrogen embrittlement. I'll explain it in another video. That's what the bead's looking like. Okay, we're gonna keep running beads. You'll notice I strike the electrode like a match here. So I think I ran about 30 beads total, and you don't have to run 30 beads total. I recommend separating it on multiple days, but as soon as you start getting tired and your beads are looking worse, I recommend stopping. You don't want to develop bad motor patterns. So running these 30 beads took about an hour. So here's a shot under a welding lens. I believe this is a shade 9 or something like that, shade 10. So you can't really see the puddle in this, but whatever. So it takes about 1.5 minutes to burn a rod, an 1/8 inch rod. So this takes a long time. That's why it takes so long. Now I'm using my pancake here because I'm welding outside. It allows me to see better. But I ended up switching to my chin operated hood just to get some practice with it. You can see how much of a pain these low hydrogen electrodes can be to strike. So I ended up turning the amperage down from 125 to I think 115 to 110 to eventually 105. Now one thing to notice is that chip and hammers are made for raking. They aren't made for actually beating the living daylights out of whatever you're trying to clean up. You don't want to smash the surface of your bead because it's still hot, it's still pretty malleable. and it'll give you a terrible finish. If the slag's too difficult to get off, your machine's not set right, or you aren't welding properly, it's alright if you don't make it to the edge of the plate. It'll allow you to practice your restarts, which is a good thing. Also, another thing is the electrode burns up into the flux, so you might need to give it a little hit on the table or the workpiece. What helps is if you have a file or a piece of sandpaper nearby to just crumple off the edge of the flux. So that was 30 beads total, and you can see how much the plate is bending, and that's 1 inch plate. That's how strong the pulling force of the molten steel is. Thanks for watching, everyone. If you have any questions for the Q&A, leave them down below. If you have any questions about the video, also leave them down below. Maybe leave a like for this bird. Her name's Miso. Please subscribe to the channel, maybe. Thanks. I appreciate you all. Hey, God bless. Love y'all. See ya.